I'm James Swanick, founder of Swanick Sleep and alcohol-free lifestyle. Check out my podcast episode on Hustle Inspires Hustle.
James, you just got back in from Medellín.
That's right, Alex. Yeah, I live in Medellín, Colombia.
How long?
Been there the last 3 years, but I've been going back and forth for 15 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was more recent. I heard your talk. I loved your talk at the last mastermind for Jeremy Haynes, Inner Circle. We're in town for it again this week. That's kind of why we're connecting as well. Hey, man, I've been a fan of one of your companies for years. We talked about it before we started. Swannies. Absolutely love them. I think since 2020, 2021, I've been a client. But then you had a little bit of a shift and started down a wellness journey that also blew me away. I just saw you, tending to your team and speaking to your customers. You're really hands-on. So I've been looking to having you on for a while. I know we talked about doing it. We talked about potentially doing a remote, but there's nothing like doing it in person. So I'm really grateful that you're here.
I agree, and it's great to be here, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you end up in Medellín, man?
Well, you know what? In 2010, I got a job hosting SportsCenter on ESPN. It was great. But I was kind of more like the fill-in guy. So I would work for 2 or 3 months, and then they'd give me like a month or two off, and then I'd come back and fill in for some other people. And I really wanted to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
So I thought in my downtime, I'm just going to go to a Spanish-speaking country. And so I went to Colombia, to Medellín, Colombia, and that's actually where I met my wife. It was crazy.
Amazing.
I met her there, but we didn't, and we dated for a little while, but we then had a 12-year kind of gap where we didn't see each other, and then I returned like 10, 11 years later, met, and we re-engaged, so to speak, and now we're creating a family, yeah.
That's incredible, right?
Yeah.
Now, I recall that you had a Bali experience. Was that right?
Yeah, I lived in Bali for a while. Towards the end of the pandemic, I went and lived there for about a year.
Yeah. I went for like a week or two visiting, and it completely blew my mind. Exceeded my expectations. Loved it. I don't stop talking about it to my family because I want to take my parents. It's amazing over there.
Yeah, my mother came over and visited me as well. She loved it as well, yeah. I mean, I got to tell you, being in Bali during the pandemic was amazing.
Yeah?
Because there were not many people there, so you could just drive around on your little moped and swim in the ocean, and, there were no lines to get into restaurants or anything. It was just like, we just had paradise at our disposal. So that was a great time to be there.
Yeah. Now, at what stage? Okay, so you did ESPN. How far after that did you start Swannies?
2015. Yeah.
So it's been 10 years now.
It's been 10 years. We've had the Swannies blue light blocking glasses company. I'm just rocking my Swannies there, and you're wearing yours. Yeah. I actually started 2 companies at the same time, simultaneously. It was the Swannies blue blocking glasses business, and I started the stop drinking coaching business.
Yeah.
And they've both been simultaneously going now for 10 years as we're recording this.
Super cool that your brand is a household name, because anybody that talks about it, I told you before we started the podcast, anybody who's in my circle that is looking for these types of products, they buy yours. And their quality as well. And I get compliments. Like I told you about it. I get compliments specifically on my blue frames all the time. Everybody always has something to say about them.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you very much. Look, when we started the business, when I say we, my brother and I, back in 2015, there were other blue blockers on the market, but they made you look like a meth chemist. They were pretty ugly and unsightly. And I was just vain enough that I wanted to kind of look good looking and handsome as I rocked a pair of glasses. So I had this idea for creating a stylish pair of blue blockers. And that's when I invited my brother into the idea, and we went out and tried to find some cool glasses, and then we developed them. And I remember we went to a biohacking conference in 2016, and we just blew up. Like, people were buying them, they loved them. In fact, I remember going to a Whole Foods down the road from this conference center where we had this biohacking conference, and we'd sold all of these pairs of Swannies. And I saw like at least a dozen people walking through the Whole Foods wearing the Swannies glasses that they'd just bought from the conference. And that's when I knew, wow, this is really going to kick off here. And I was right.
Both of your businesses have to do with wellness, both of them. Was that intentional? Was it life that kind of like ended up having you fall into those businesses, or is it something that you were always fond of?
I think I learned early on that what was going to keep me motivated in life was creating a business that genuinely helps people. So when I became interested in a stylish pair of blue blockers, it was very obvious to go into that because it helps people sleep. Like, it helps people reduce their fogginess and their irritability. It genuinely helps people. I'm not selling Coca-Cola or sugar water or candy or anything like that. Like, I'm creating a product that genuinely helps people. So that was very important to me. And then when I started the Stop Drinking coaching business, the same mentality came into being, which was, this is something that's really served me. Like, stopping drinking has given me profound positive impact in my life. Now I'm going to show this to other people. And, you know, the thing that's kept me going in both of those businesses for 10 years are very happy customers and clients who say things to me like, you've helped change my life. Like, even before we started recording here, you said, oh, I love my Swannies. I love them. I always get compliments. So I love that. Like, I love hearing that from a happy customer, and that keeps me motivated. I'm not sure I would be as motivated in a business that didn't get that direct thank you so much for this, because no one's really going to come and thank the head of Coca-Cola or Target or
McDonald's or whatever.
Yeah. Right? But getting that customer, client, raving fan for life, that's what really inspires me.
And there's, like, you know, a really cool thing is a wellness boom now. I can't help but notice it on social media. People going to run clubs. I've done a few episodes on, you know, Diplo had like 14,000 people show up for a run club, and then they had a concert after. He's doing it now here in Miami. People are looking out for their health. There's a bunch of clubs in Miami now. People not drinking as much. I'm noticing I'm going to restaurants here in Miami, and then they have the non-alcoholic side of the mocktails. So the culture is starting to shift a little bit. You have a 10-year, you know, lead on this, but now it seems like the times and people's behaviors are catching up with what type of business you have put out there. So it must be an amazing moment to be operating both of these businesses.
Yeah, I would consider myself a pioneer in both of those businesses.
Yeah.
Since 2015, there weren't many blue blockers on the market. No one really knew what it was, and stopping drinking wasn't cool. It wasn't really like a thing. It was really just, oh, he's an alcoholic, she's an alcoholic, they must have a problem. Right. Whereas now it's turned into this whole wellness endeavor. It's like this lifestyle that people are now embracing. But I tell you, it wasn't like that in 2015. In 2015, if you stopped drinking, you were like, what? What are you talking about? That's a bit weird. But now increasingly...
Like you have a problem or something.
Like you have a problem. You might be an alcoholic. But now people are increasingly feeling comfortable about sharing the fact that they are alcohol-free, doing it with a smile on their face. And now, like, even younger people who are dating are meeting for dates on morning walks, as opposed to how it was in my day, which was you'd meet at a bar for a drink. Hey, you want to go for a drink? A couple of drinks at a bar, go to a restaurant. That's now more of the rarity, certainly in Generation Z. Generation Z have really turned their back on alcohol. They're now taking completely different actions.
Yeah. I almost wonder, because it's happening really fast. It's not like a super, like a small gradual change. It's a super big one. So I almost wonder how all of these brands are going to adapt, because it's, for example, hospitality, you know, hotels, restaurants, liquor brands, sporting events, so many industries that rely so heavily upon that. It's going to be interesting to see the shift and the brands that are going to come out of that shift, the brands like yours.
Yeah, there is a cultural change happening right now where people are turning their back increasingly on alcohol and heading towards alcohol-free alternatives. I mean, I see Heineken Zero advertised in Champions League football games, sponsoring Formula One race days. You know, it's now becoming part of the mainstream, and the liquor companies are terrified, which is why they're creating these alcohol-free alternatives now, just to try to keep up with the increasing demand of people wanting alcohol-free alternatives. But those companies that don't adapt and cater to the improving and increasing health demands of its customers or clients, they're going to get slaughtered.
You know, it's when you look at things over the last, like, let's say 10 years, right? You've a lot of great things that have happened in the world, but also a lot of wacky things have happened in the world. Seeing this shift now of behavior kind of makes me feel like for some time we weren't heading in the right direction. But now I'm kind of like seeing a light at the end of the tunnel, because it's so many young people breaking apart from the chains of history of what they're used to seeing with their parents, their family, their ancestors, the partying, the drinking, all of a sudden saying, well, I don't need that. Yeah, it makes me, maybe it's a social lubricant, right? It makes you have a good time and helps you open up a little bit. But I think it's also the moderation. Like, most of the people that come into your program, would you say they're coming into your program because they're too far gone, or because they are at a point where they're noticing that they're about to get there and they don't want to cross that threshold?
We have both. Most of the people who join our Stop Drinking program are either experiencing a rock bottom right now, and the rock bottom tends to be they're not great role models for their children. They're heading for a divorce. They could lose everything. They're not necessarily getting arrested, waking up in a ditch, getting a DUI, but the drift of life, many years, decades of drinking, let's say 2, 3, 4 drinks a night, has caught up with them. Now they're 35, 40 pounds overweight. Their wife or their husband wants to leave them. Their kids don't want to spend time with them. They're operating at a 6 out of 10 in their business. The drift has become so much, and they get to this point where they go, enough, I got to make a change. Then they'll come to us. Then, candidly, we do have clients who come to us who have hit more of a rock bottom, let's just say, where they have got a DUI, or they have got arrested, or they've done something stupid at an industry party, or they've told their boss to F off, or their business is really about to implode. And they'll come to us and say, I need to stop, I need to stop, I need to stop. Now, in both scenarios, we try to help them to rewire their mindset around needing to quit and instead choosing an alcohol-free lifestyle. So instead of like, I need to stop, I have to stop, my life is falling apart, we do what I call the flipperoonie, where we have them instead choose this style of life, this lifestyle, which is focus on being almost like a professional sleeper, eating good food, being mobile, practicing conscious communication, getting into personal development, taking different actions that have led them to this crisis point. And I think most of the time when people can embed an alcohol-free lifestyle is when they have a profound and positive vision, as opposed to something that they're trying to avoid over here, which in this case is alcohol.
I see. So more so I need to stop being this way. It's, oh, I get to do this other thing.
Yes. Most people are going around going, I need to stop. I have to surrender to this power. Oh, I'm powerless over this disease, like you hear in AA programs, for example. I think that's incredibly ineffective, and certainly there are numerous studies that suggest that. 7% success rate for AA is what the studies seem to suggest, what their actual
That's
success rate. Yeah, horrendously low.
Yeah.
It's been effective for millions of people, no question, but it's been ineffective
For
10 times as many people who've tried it.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the reason for that is because it's like, no, I can't do this. I have to surrender. I got to do this 12 steps program. You're lamenting the past, as opposed to the way that we do things here, which is empowering, which is, yes, I get to be alcohol free. I don't see not drinking as deprivation and pain. I see not drinking as the special occasion every day. But most people in society are saying, oh, I'll just drink on a special occasion, or drinking is so worthy that I would bow down and worship it and only think of it in the sense of fun, joy, commiseration, something that we do if we're feeling isolated, when we toast the bride and groom at a wedding, when we celebrate our sporting team winning, we drink alcohol.
It's ingrained in every great moment. That's crazy, right?
It's ingrained not in just every great moment.
And every bad moment.
Every bad moment as well.
Yeah.
But what we try to do is we try to get people to shift their mindset to, let's look at not drinking as a special occasion. It's not that you're going to be dull and boring not drinking. You're actually going to be more fun, more interesting, deeper connections, more energetic. You're going to love your life so much more choosing an alcohol-free lifestyle, as opposed to feeling like you're in a prison, like, oh, I need to stop, I can't drink.
Yeah. Interesting, man. And one of the things I really loved about your talk at the last mastermind, I know I touched on it a few points already, but you're helping professionals who really want to change their life. And you're not just helping them, but everybody around them. You're changing the lives of their family. Now, for that last 10 years, you've seen people go through all types of stuff when it comes to alcohol. What would you say are the top 3 things that make people gravitate most towards alcohol or a life with alcohol in it?
Cultural conditioning has millions of people around the world convinced that drinking is worthy of connection, of romance, of celebration, of commiseration. And it started when we were a little boy or a little girl, and the adult figures in our life, mostly our parents, would say, oh, no, little Johnny or little Sally, you can't drink now. You can drink when you're older. And in that moment, our adult figures implanted the idea that drinking is something to aspire to consume, that one day when you go through this rite of passage, then you'll get to drink. as if drinking attractively packaged poison is something worthy of being a rite of passage in the first place anyway. So that's where that cultural conditioning started. And then it is perpetuated through Hollywood movies, television shows,
music, everything.
Our friends who are smiling assassins, they're all like, hey, would you like a drink? Can we get a drink? Hey. And we become smiling assassins. Like when we're a host.
Smiling assassins, that's great.
We want to invite people over to our home and say, can I get you a wine? Can I get you a beer? What can I get you? Like we want to be hospitable.
Yeah.
But in that moment, we are smiling as we are assassinating our friends.
You're passing them a cup full of poison.
Attractively packaged poison.
That's crazy, man. Because I didn't look at it that way for so long until, like, I've always been the type that I, maybe go out once a month, have a few drinks on the holidays, have a few beers. Maybe when I go out with my friends, have a few beers, but never had a drinking problem. When I really started measuring my stuff with Whoop and seeing how I feel the day after drinking, it was more so that I felt that it took me longer to. I'll put it to you with this perspective. I drink, we have a good time. We go to dinner, I have a bottle of wine. Well, I'm going to feel great. We're going to talk shit. We're going to laugh. Ha, ha, ha. But during the next 3 days, my body's going to try to recover all that. So for 30 minutes of me being smiley, a smiling assassin, I just fucked my week up. And that's what really got to me the most, because productivity. And your talk was impactful to me. Like, it really was, because I don't have a drinking problem, but I really did think about it like, shit, man, sometimes you ruin your whole week just by doing something like a brunch on Sunday or this or that, when you could have done something healthy that actually made you feel better, and maybe you put somebody in your family or in your inner circle down a better path than otherwise, right?
Ponder how long you spend thinking about drinking, preparing for drinking, recovering from drinking, lamenting the drinking, debating with yourself whether you're going to continue drinking, thinking more about drinking, preparing for drinking, recovering from drinking, on and on and on.
And the money associated to drinking, because it's expensive too. Like, you could really damage your bank account.
You don't just damage your bank account from drinking, because there's the expenditure of buying the drinks. Where you really damage your bank account is the money that you do not generate because of the consequences of your drinking.
That's where you got me with your talk.
I would submit most entrepreneurs are leaving millions of dollars on the table as a result of their drinking habits. And I often say to them, how much is your drinking habit costing you? And they might say, a few $1,000s a year. I probably only spend $5,000 a year. I said, okay, well, that's interesting. But what's more interesting is how much money you don't generate because of the consequences of your drinking, which is irritability, fogginess, distractedness, poor sleep. When you drink, it takes you 2 or 3 days to recover.
Yeah.
And
if you're 25 and older.
You're not as focused. You don't hire that person. You don't fire that person. You don't come up with an additional strategy to generate more clients or customers. You don't think strategically. You're dragging your backside through that business. And the difference between operating at a 6 out of 10 when you're hungover or you're recovering from drinking, and a 9 out of 10 when you've got clarity and focus and energy and great strategic insight, can be hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars of revenue a year. So entrepreneurs all over the world are destroying their financial life and destroying the impact of their business by simply choosing to drink attractively packaged poison.
Now, does your program work with people only in the U.S. or do you have clients outside?
We have clients all over the world, mostly the U.S.
Now, obviously the U.S., you have to be 21 plus to drink. Most other countries, 18. Other countries, I think probably 15, 14 years old. Have you noticed a trend towards where you mentioned something, how they tell you, okay, you have to be older to drink so that you have to look forward to it. Here in the States, we got to look forward to it longer. Do you see it being a bigger problem in the States where the age limit to drink is at 21 versus other countries where it's 18? Are those people in those other countries more calmed down, more moderate? Is it the same?
I haven't seen any pattern that suggests that there's a big difference between the legal drinking age being 18 or 21. Teenagers are going to do what they're going to do. Yeah. And the more that you say, oh, you can't do this, the more likely they're going to want to do that.
Yeah.
What I would say is more than the legal drinking age being implemented in countries around the world, the way that you get through to someone is through modeling great, healthy behaviors. And that starts with our parents. And when we're a little boy or a little girl, we're like impressionable. We're 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. We're watching mum and dad drink, even modest amounts. Even if they're just drinking a glass of wine, seemingly innocent glass of wine at the dinner table, it's still implanting this idea that one day I'm going to get to drink. And then again, it's perpetuated when we get into high school and college because the smiling assassins appear everywhere. All of our friends are laughing and smiling and joking, and so we keep associating good times with the alcohol. When you walk into a restaurant, the waiter or the waitress will come up to you and say, "Oh, hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Can I get you started with a drink? Something from the drinks menu?" They're essentially saying to you, "Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Can I get you 10 pounds of unwanted body weight? Hello, can I get you some irritability and frustration? Hey, can I get you a bad night's sleep?"
That would be a nice sketch, right? Like a sketch of a like a waiter talking to a table, just like telling them how much he's gonna fuck them up by giving them a drink.
And the man
could be a good ad for you.
Yeah. And the dinner guests are looking at the menu go, "Oh, yeah, I think I'll have the irritability tomorrow, please. Oh, I think I'll have 3 days of regret and shame. Thank you very much. Actually, you know what? I think I might just underperform in my business tomorrow. I'll have that one.
I'll have that one.
Great
I'll
choice,
ruin my
sir."
marriage. Give me another one of these.
I mean, that's essentially what they're inviting us to do when they come up to our table in a restaurant and offer us a drink, because that's what alcohol does. And there are people out there who might think, "Oh, geez, relax, guy. Come on, what are you talking about?"
I was about to tell you that. So what do you tell those people? Like, come on, man, relax. You can have a drink or two, or it's a birthday, it's a holiday. Like, what is the mindset when it comes to questions like that?
So people who think about drinking alcohol as people who think that they're going to drink alcohol only on a special occasion just don't get it, because the special occasion is every day that you choose to be alcohol free. The special occasion is not here. The special occasion is not drinking poison, which affects you, which compromises your sleep and leaves you feeling irritable and having regret and shame the next day. That's not the special occasion. The special occasion is every day you choose to be alcohol free and you got clarity, focus, joy, energy. You go to a party, you go to a sporting game, you go to a wedding, you go to all these events, you go to a networking event, and you choose to be alcohol free, and you have the most fun and you're the most engaged and you've got the most clarity. And you just relax and have a great time. Whereas most people are walking around mistakenly believing that they need to nurse this glass of attractively packaged poison in order to endure a situation, in order to create fun, in order to create romance. It's a nonsense.
It will be very interesting to see the kids of Gen Z and what their habits are going to be like. Because it's going to be night and day from what we're used to seeing. Our grandparents, our parents, our aunts, our uncles. My brother doesn't drink. You could offer that guy whatever. He's not interested. He just wants to work and work out and go to school, and I think that's pretty cool, bro. Like, I had a bunch of fun in high school and college. I went out, I drank, I had a blast. I enjoyed the hell out of Miami. But for me, I'm not really thinking about that right now. Maybe people need to go through their stage, but that's where a lot of people end up getting stuck, right?
Alcohol's reputation is crumbling. It really is. And I think in 30 years from now, we're going to look back on alcohol with the same level of disdain we currently do cigarettes.
Yeah.
Back in the 1950s and 60s, there were these television commercials of doctors in white lab coats smoking Camel cigarettes. And the ad was, the Camel cigarettes, the cigarette chosen by most doctors. And we look at that now and we go, what were we thinking?
Yeah.
That's how we're going to look back on alcohol today. Like in 30 years from now, we're going to look back in 2025 and say, what were we thinking? And we've got these celebrities like Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, George Clooney. They're all peddling poison.
Yeah.
It's culturally acceptable poison right now in 2025, but it's not going to be culturally accepted in 2055. It's going to shift because it's happening. There's already a massive cultural change that's happening now where the liquor companies are scrambling to create 0% beers and wines. People are becoming much more health conscious.
Which is pretty stupid if you think about it. Like, I'm not going to drink a nasty ass, 0% beer if it's not going to give me the buzz that a beer gave me. That it almost feels more foolish than drinking the damn beer. I'd rather have a juice or something. I've tried them, and they taste very similar, but it just kind of seems funky to me. I've seen a lot of the adaptogenic drinks that are coming out, and there's a lot of new stuff coming out, which is I think is pretty cool. But I just think they're scrambling and they're just trying to save it, and I don't think there's any saving it. I think there's just going to open up the room for a whole new category, or just the category is just going to dissipate in general. Kind of like maybe something new comes along, the way vapes replace the cigarettes. Maybe these adaptogenic drinks are going to replace that, and it just goes in another direction.
There are dozens and dozens and dozens of alcohol-free brands out there. I'm an investor in one company called Groovy, Gruvi. They're out of Denver, Colorado.
Hemp-based?
No, not
No?
hemp-based. No, and just 0% beer, 0% wine, 0% everything's. And they're doing amazing. Like, there's just an explosion of interest in those types of drinks. Eventually, we'll get to the part where probably those guys will be out of business as well because people don't really appreciate the actual taste of beer or wine.
That's what I was saying. So like it would be, it's kind of like a Band-Aid for now, but those brands that are innovating, at least they're showing innovation. At least they're not staying stuck to their old ways and getting blockbustered, you know?
Yes. I always encourage our stop drinking clients not to drink alcohol-free beers or alcohol-free wines in the first 90 days that they're stopping drinking or trying to rewire their mindset, because the association is still there. But if I can get you to at least 90 consecutive days alcohol-free, then from that point would be an appropriate time to introduce a 0% beer or 0% wine, because we're trying to disassociate. Wine equals pleasure or beer equals pleasure. And the challenge is that if you're then used to going out to a restaurant and saying, oh, can I have a 0% beer, and they don't have one, then you may then say, oh, in actual fact, just give me the full strength normal beer one. And then you return to the same level of drinking that inspired you to try to drink alcohol-free alternatives in the first place.
What is, like, top of mind, what is the most impactful story that stayed with you from one of your clients or somebody that you helped?
There was a gentleman named Christian there is a gentleman named Christian who's a British man, lives over in Manchester, England, and he was taking care of his late wife, Ginny, and she had cancer. And he was drinking to relieve himself of the pain of that. She then sadly passed, and then his drinking increased over the next 18 months because he had a lot of grief. And finally, it got to the point where he'd put on about 40 pounds. He was unhappy, he was lonely, and he recalled something that his late wife, Ginny, had said, which is, when I pass, I want you to fulfill your bucket list item of sailing across the world. And so he joined our Stop Drinking program, quit drinking, and shared this story. And I said, okay, go away and learn how to sail across the world. And he did. He went away and he learned, and he joined a sailing race that went from Spain to the Caribbean in a crew of about 20 or 25 people. And he got to the other side, arrived on the race. I think they came second or third in their class. And he got off, and all of the fellow people on the boat went off and got drunk and celebrated, and he just walked around and just felt so amazing that he was alcohol free, that he did this as in testament to his wife, or tribute to his wife, and he remained alcohol free. He didn't go and celebrate the way that everyone else was celebrating by going and drinking.
That would have ruined the whole thing.
Yeah. And, I caught up with him for dinner in London, England about last summer, actually. And at that stage, he was still 3 years alcohol-free, just completely transformed. He had a much more engaged relationship with his adult children. He'd lost that 35, 40 pounds. He was feeling really happy. Of course, he misses his late wife, but, he's energetic, happy, joyful, feeling amazing because he got rid of that alcohol. So that's a huge transformation. I've had people make millions of dollars more money because they went alcohol free over the course of a year. There was one gentleman named Tim, and he's a commercial real estate broker, and he joined our Stop Drinking program, and he estimated that his drinking was costing him $250,000 a year, because he was going to these real estate industry parties and drinking alcohol and then waking up the next day tired, lethargic, not calling the leads that he generated the night before. So he came to us. His marriage was on the rocks. He stopped drinking alcohol. He started going back to those same networking events, but this time alcohol-free. Now he had the clarity to really connect with people. He got their details. He followed up with them the next day. A couple of days later, that led to additional business, and he estimated that additional business from the clarity and focus and energy of being alcohol-free generated him an additional $250,000 that year.
What's the first shift a high performer feels when they stop drinking, and why does it surprise most people?
Clarity. Clarity to make better strategic decisions, clarity to hire the right person, fire the right person, to see all the different angles. Next thing is to have energy, because when you're not drinking, you sleep much better, and when you sleep much better, you have more energy, so you can not necessarily push through each day, but you can actually be more energetic and keep going and do more work on a day. But not just do more work, do better work. It's the quality of the work. I always say to people, like, especially entrepreneurs, they got their foot down on the gas trying to accelerate, and if they're drinking alcohol, they simultaneously have their foot on the brake.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say to them, you don't have to push harder on the accelerator to go further or to get better results. You just got to ease up on the brake and you will just naturally glide further. So alcohol is like a ball and chain around an entrepreneur's ankle. And if you get rid of that ball and chain, and now you generate clarity, focus, and energy, you make better strategic decisions, now you can really create impact with your business.
Yeah, so I guess the way I'm interpreting that is you would essentially be applying the same effort, you just wouldn't be getting in your own way, and you'd be able to get a lot further with the same effort that you're applying and the same force.
Well, in actual fact, you might not be applying the same effort because that would mean that you're not drinking alcohol in the first place. But if you're drinking alcohol and you're tired and you're irritable and you're frustrated, I would submit most people are actually trying to apply more effort because they're not getting the results they want. What I'm saying is that if you ease up on the alcohol, you remove it, you don't actually even have to go harder or faster or push down more. In fact, you could probably ease up a little bit more and not be so stuck in the hustle, so to speak, and just think more strategically and even removing or reducing some of that brute force where you're trying to create an outcome. With the absolute removal of the alcohol, you will just naturally go faster anyway.
Yeah.
Not just faster, but further. You will create generational impact in your clients' and customers' lives, in your own life, your team, your staff, all the people around you will get more inspired by you. That will make them perform better. It just has this beautiful synergistic result of generational impact in everyone's life.
Would you find that people who consume cannabis deal with very similar structure? Meaning, while they're consuming, they maybe have their foot on the brake a little bit and could be easing up. Would you find similarities there, or do you think it's a completely different world?
There can be. Cannabis is not really my specialty, but I would say this. Anything that you take, any substance or any behavior that you take that doesn't serve you, or as a result of you feeling a craving for something, demonstrates that there's something inherently not 100%. So we're talking about alcohol, but it could be being a shopaholic or a loveaholic or a workaholic or a porn addict. Whatever it is, we're craving something.
Fill in the blank, yeah.
Exactly, because we're craving something that helps us not feel what it's like to be ourselves in that moment. So the real issue is, why do we feel the discomfort of being ourselves in the first place? So it's not necessarily, there's a different way to fix cannabis or alcohol or work or love addiction or any of those kind of things. It's why are we uncomfortable being with ourselves in the first place, that we would crave something.
An escape.
That we would crave an escape to try to, control that painful feeling in the first place.
What's one thing most men need to hear right now, whether they drink or they don't?
Most men, not most women, most men.
Most men.
Okay.
Talking to you as a man, of course, like seeing everything you've accomplished and how many people you've helped.
I think most men need to hear that removing alcohol is a superpower for their love life and for their business life and for their financial life. And it's not so much, in my experience, about accomplishing a whole bunch of things. It's being like an oak tree in your family and with your business. And the oak tree means that you're not reactive, you're responsive. And most men and women are running around reacting to life's triggers. Oh, I'm upset. Oh, we snap at our wife or our husband or our colleagues, or we get irritated. Alcohol can really accentuate those feelings of irritation as well. But if we come back to, I'm an oak tree, I can't be moved. People can be yelling in my face. The market can collapse. The president can say something that I don't like. But I'm an oak tree and I'm just rock solid. And I'm just like, I'm just observing life. I'm observing this chaos that's going on around me. Then we take very different actions. We behave very differently. And people feel that and they see that and they respond to that very positively. Now we get looked upon as a leader.
That's how we're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The oak tree is the leader. We're not the chipmunk running around at the base of the oak tree like most people are. We want to be an oak tree. A chipmunk is like, oh my God, I'm running this way, I'm running that way. I'm upset by this. This person did this. I'm overwhelmed. I'm stressed. We don't want to be the chipmunk. We want to be the oak tree who's leading the chipmunks.
Wise. A wise oak tree.
Unshakable, unmovable.
Would you find, because I find that you're so in tune with that part of yourself and that part of life, would you say that your trip to Bali, maybe the books you've read, meditation, spirituality, do any of those things have anything to do with this path of being alcohol free, of not needing to find an escape? Would you say that's part of the formula?
Stopping drinking alcohol was the gateway to personal development, which led me to living in Bali, which led me to doing personal development programs, which led to me doing a 10-day silent meditation called Vipassana, which led me into creating health conscious companies like the Swannies Blue Blockers and our stop drinking business. So getting that out of the system opened up this whole cascade of other health related modalities, if you like, and interests and curiosities. Stopping drinking attracted a higher vibrational person into my life, someone who is health conscious communicator, interpersonal development. Their frequency is just much more open than what I see a lot of people are when they're drinking alcohol or they have very poor habits.
You could have attracted something completely different for yourself if you didn't go down this path.
If I'd stayed on the path of drinking, I probably would have been irritable, frustrated, stressed, living a life of expectation instead of appreciation, which is how I live my life now. Probably wouldn't have been sleeping well. Maybe I would have got married and got a divorce. Maybe I'd have health complications. I mean, I'm 50 years old, and stopping drinking has got me feel like I'm 30 years old. I mean, I feel like I've got the body nature intended me to have. I have the energy, the clarity, the mindset, the positivity that I think nature intended me to have. I think it's when we're drinking a poison or something outside of ourselves that doesn't serve us is where we don't create the life that nature intended us to have. Now we're actually in this kind of matrix of poor health, irritation, frustration, divorce, relationship strain. We're hostile, we're combative. But if we just remove that attractively packaged poison, then our natural state starts to shine through.
You know, it's funny how the same problems we create for ourselves or that perpetuate in our families, most of them have the same roots, and we just seem to ignore it most of the time. But for a lot of us that wake up, it's great. Speaking of waking up and going to sleep, before we wrap up, I want to talk about the importance of sleep, right? Because sleep is something that has to do with both of your businesses. The alcohol business, of course, it completely smashes your sleep. But for Swannies, you help people. And I wanted to talk about the benefits of that, because a lot of the times that I try to explain to people, like the benefits, I like fumble over myself trying to explain it. But I know that there's benefits behind it, and there's a reason why I use your products. Do you mind breaking those benefits down for somebody that's just learning about you or Swannies?
Regarding the blue blocking glasses?
Yes. Yeah.
So the Swannies blue light blocking glasses block out the artificial light from screens and from the refrigerator and the bathroom light and the kitchen light and the microwave light. And the reason why that's important is artificial light at night disrupts our sleep. Artificial light actually suppresses our melatonin release. And when you wear a pair of orange lens blue blocking glasses like the Swannies glasses, the orange lens repels the artificial blue light that suppresses our melatonin release. So when we're not wearing blue blockers and we're living our life at night, the body and the brain thinks that it's daytime and it doesn't release as much melatonin. But then when we wear the orange lens blue blockers, our body then goes, oh, okay, it's nighttime because the blue light doesn't get through. Now the body releases the melatonin levels that it was always intending to do. Now we start to fall asleep. We sleep deeper. We sleep better. We wake up feeling nice and refreshed. So that's the orange lens glasses. Then there are the clear lens glasses, which you're wearing right now, which are more like blue filtering glasses as opposed to blue blocking glasses. So they're blocking some of the blue light, but it's more like they're blocking enough to ensure that you have high productivity and you're focused and you're not irritable or foggy throughout the workday. In actual fact, we want lots of blue light during the daytime hours because we want to work, we want energy, and we want to block the blue light at nighttime when our body's ready to repair and rest.
There you go. James, look, this has been a wonderful talk, man. I've learned a lot about you. I've been looking forward to this. I'm a fan of your companies. I'm always a fan of somebody that chooses wellness and to help other people to build their business, because, you know, the world is crazy these days and you could have chosen to do something else. And putting a positive word out there is essentially what we do here. Hustle inspires hustle. The type of shit you do inspires people, man. And I wanted people to hear your story, so I'm grateful that you're here. Thank you for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks so much for having me, Alex.
Where can we find you on socials, find your businesses, your websites, everything?
Yeah, alcoholfreelifestyle.com. My social on Instagram is @JamesSwannick. And then I have a book called Clear, which is available on Amazon and online, wherever books are sold.
Beautiful. Thanks, James. Appreciate you,
Alex.
man. And don't forget, you can support the Hustle Inspires Hustle podcast by visiting our shop at hustleinspireshustle.com/shop.